Okay, so you want to learn how to take a basic photo for your blog. This is a good practice to have, and it's a great skill to develop. It's also a great jumping off point for multimedia. The rules are actually relatively simple. When you start conducting interviews for your blog, you'll do a lot of Q&As. It's always good to get them in person so you can actually put a face with your story. So, that being said, this right here, what we're doing is relatively boring, unless you're producing an instructional video. So what you want to do is you want to frame your subject to the point where they're right here. This is the point where you want to get them, kind of looking back into you, give them this kind of breathing space. Now this is a more interesting shot, not because there's anything going on in this background right here, it's a brick wall, but it does lead the eye into where I am. So that being said, you want to abide by the rule of thirds. Now the rule of thirds are lines that look like a tic-tac-toe board on your screen. So it's this and these. You want to get action going on right here, 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 and here. That's where the eye goes. It makes for a much more dynamic shot, and people will start to notice. Now, the next thing that you kind of want to do is you want to get as close as you can. If you can't touch who you're shooting or what you're actually trying to get the focus of, you're not close enough. But you also want to get a little bit closer. Now, while I know I'm not much to look at, it is interesting to point out that at this closeness, you can see that my eyes are actually hazel and not brown. It's a simple detail like that that will actually set yourself apart if you're willing to get this close to somebody. Now, I would have to stress that you should always ask someone before engaging on their personal space. Now, this kind of leads me into my next point, is that you got to take the eye where it can't usually go. An angle, for example, that most people don't look at. So if you follow me up here, this is a shot that you usually won't see, but it denotes a certain sense of authority that you're getting me from this upward angle. Now, most people don't look at others from this level. It's a little bit on the awkward side, to be quite honest. You don't crawl under somebody, but as a photographer, you should start developing that kind of courage to get on the ground and to get close. And this also now brings me to my other point, is that you should create a depth of field. You should show a different kind of focus. Now, if I put my hand right here, and you can see it on my arm, you can see that my hand is the predominant feature. Now, if I were to, say, take a portrait shot of somebody giving a helping hand up, you would be led from my hand, from my fingertips, all the way on my arm into my face. Now, it creates an interesting shot because it shows your audience that you know what you're doing and that there's a lot going on. It's not that basic. Now, you can get a camera like this. It's relatively expensive. I think this model actually costs about $700, but you don't need this from the get-go. It's a great tool to have, yes, but this is something that you want to keep for later on. If you have a standard point-and-shoot camera, you can abide by some of these rules, and it's always good to have your photos on your blog instead of pulling them from other sources because it makes you an authoritative figure. And above all else, always have a camera on you. Don't be that guy that missed, or that girl, for example, that missed that key shot because you left your camera at home. Good luck.